can find me on Twitter at Ikegah Ruth. You can shoot me a DM. I think Martins now has a Twitter account. That's interesting. So Martins,
Yeah,
Martins, please introduce yourself.
yeah, thank you, Ruth, for the for the tease there. I'm trying to be like you and be more active on Twitter. So I've been here at GitHub for about 4 years now. I'm a mid market account exec here at GitHub. I love cryptocurrency, but we've been getting burned recently. Uh, Um, but overall, we're just happy to chat with you guys today. We have some amazing content for you, and we look forward to the conversation today. So, yeah, Ruth, do you want to go through the agenda that we have?
Yeah, and talking about crypto, we're talking about Web3 today. So we are going to learn a lot of things. So yeah. So
Awesome.
yeah, our agenda, the usual um GitHub news. We are going to go through a lot of. I don't think we have a lot today though, but GitHub is always improving so many things. So we'll take
Just
you all through like news, and then we have, like we said, we have two amazing speakers that are going to be talking to us about Web3, content and a whole lot of stuff. So we have Edidiong and Victory. And after their sessions, we are going to be doing a networking session, our usual interesting networking session. And Andrea is behind the scenes. Andrea is preparing like Kahoot games that will play, and I will win. And Martins will take, the
yeah, I
last
think I
place
won,
today.
I won last week. Yeah, I won.
Yeah, that's true. You won the last one, and
Yeah,
yeah, I think I was somewhere in between the winners though. But yeah,
yeah. Let's
so
see how you do this.
also, this is not all. After this, YouTube live session, we also have like a networking session where we, you know, play Kahoot games, and you can also ask the speakers questions one on one and all that stuff. Yeah, so that's our agenda for today. So sit back and relax. Let's go to GitHub news. So yeah, GitHub, like I said earlier, GitHub has been doing a lot of changes. They have been making experience more better, and now you can, before you could always see like this when you make a commit or your repository is behind. You can always see this update here that says, okay, your repository is behind. But right now, you can now, compare differences between, you can see what is behind. You can go to like a different page. There's like more details on that. So
Mhm.
take note of that update. In case you see that, you can now look at, okay, this is where my repository is behind and all that. So yeah, so that's the first thing we have. I think.
All right, thank you, Ruth, for that. And I think the next update we've made over the past couple of months, it's regarding GitHub Actions, right? So when you run GitHub Actions, you get a nice completion page that your jobs have run. Now we've made an enhancement such that you actually get a different full test summary of all the tests you ran, the tests that failed, the tests that passed, some of the tests that were skipped, and how much time it took. And all of this is now in a markdown file. So you can, it's good for you to like aggregate data, display all your test results, generate different reports. If you guys are data geeks, you can get a lot of data and also build custom output and independent logs. So basically, the summary is that with GitHub Actions with job summaries, you can now use a Markdown file to create an environment variable that we've introduced. And this environment variable is like $sign GitHub underscore step underscore summary. That would help you to show all your test results. And any Markdown content you add to this file will be displayed on GitHub's action summary page. So that's pretty much it. Take a look at this, and I think this will help you guys run better jobs with GitHub Actions. So
Sweet. Yeah, so this one is my favorite one. So GitHub issues now has like there's some update on GitHub issues. So before you could just click, if you go to your issues, you could just click close issue and there was like no reason. But now you have like you can click on this drop down and there's like you can close it as completed. If you know the issue was about a fix and it has been fixed, you can close it as done. And you can also put choose to close it as not planned. Maybe it was like a stale issue, or somebody duplicated it, or something that the project is not ready to fix yet. So you can also click on this drop down and let people know why the issue was closed. So yeah, so that's another good update too.
All right. Thank you, Ruth, for that. I think the final update here before we um, have the
This one is
speakers.
a lot.
Yeah, this
There's
is
like a lot of diagrams everywhere.
a crazy diagram. But you guys know that GitHub is like the home of open source development, and security is so important to us here at GitHub. We want to make sure that GitHub users are, shipping code securely. So we have a new certification that we call it's called the SOIEC 2700. Basically, it's like an ISMS certification. It's something that it's overall ISMS is called an Information Security Management System. It's a documented program for designing, implementing, managing, and maintaining dependable security program within an organization. Just to make sure that the confidentiality of all our users, over 50, I think at this point we have over 60 million users on GitHub. We want to make sure that their information are confidential, and the whole point of this certification is just a testament to the fact that GitHub continues to invest in security and compliance. As we continue to be the home of all developers, right? So that's why we are now excited to announce this new certification. So basically, this certification process started in like September of last year, and we finally completed it this year. So the TLDR for this is that GitHub is more secure. We are taking more steps to make sure that everyone on GitHub is shipping code securely overall. So that's all the updates we have today. We'll definitely have more as we continue to push more products and enhancements to the
Really?
platform. And I will let Ruth introduce the speakers,
Yep.
or the first speaker.
Um, okay. My tab is not moving. Okay, it is now. So yeah, so time for our speakers. And we have for Edidiong Umana is going to be talking to us about introduction to DeFi. And Edidiong is a front end developer and has been doing a lot of stuff around Web3. And we're happy to, talk about DeFi. I think DeFi means decentralized finance or something, but let
Right.
Edidiong give us more insight on what DeFi is and how to get involved.
Awesome.
Um, sorry. Okay, so let me stop share quickly.
Much. Thank you, Gift Africa. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Ikegah, and the other host of today's session. I'm really glad to share and to be here as well. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure. So basically, we'll be talking about decentralized finance, and I'll be just sharing a brief introduction to decentralized finance. Okay. So currently, decentralized finance has been a buzzword on social media. There's been a lot of hype, a lot of news around it, many protocols emerging and all of that. So much going on in the space. And believe me, you might be interested. You might want to know if you can invest your crypto holdings in decentralized finance, if decentralized finance is risky, or if decentralized finance will truly change the future of finance. So I'm going to share all of that and clarify your doubts. And at the end of this session, You will be free to ask your questions and send in your suggestion, and we'll get to learn together. Okay, thank you very much. So basically, decentralized finance is a global and open alternative to the current financial systems. We all know our banks, okay, the traditional finance systems where we use banks to save money, we use banks to lend, we borrow with banks, we borrow fiat currencies with bank, okay? And we're looking at decentralized finance seeks to put all of that traditional finance solution, but this time on the blockchain, okay? This time on the blockchain. So it serves as products that allow you to borrow, save, invest, and trade. And as well, an open source technology that anyone can program with, anyone can build on, anyone that has an idea of programming can actually prefer a solution in DeFi. And that's the one of the things that makes DeFi very interesting, okay? So let's talk about what is decentralized finance, okay? Decentralized finance is simply refers to an ecosystem of financial applications that are built on top of blockchain networks, okay? So when you hear about decentralized finance, we're talking about the traditional finance solutions you have, but this time they are being built on blockchain protocols, and they utilize digital assets, smart contracts, and decentralized applications, all of which I will be talking about on this in this session, okay? So looking at our banks, looking at banks will help us understand decentralized finance better. Okay, will help us have a good perspective into decentralized finance. See, banks are centralized. They are plain simple, and they are managed by a central governing body. That's supposed to be good news, but in the other way around, it is bad news because we have regulation, we have corruptions, we have high transaction processing fees. We have a lot of issues, and especially in the aspect of global payments, global transfer of value. Banks, if you want to send $1 million across the world, it could take hours and even not weeks of processing and documentation. Meanwhile, if you want to send $2 million or say 100 Ethereum to someone halfway across the world, you just need to have access to a wallet, have your funds in your wallet, and then you can easily do your transfer in seconds at very low cost. At very low cost, traditional finance acts as a guarantors of transactions that give institutions immense power because your money is with them. Okay, but this is decentralized finance poses a solution where your money is controlled by you. You are the one that accesses your finances and your transactions seamlessly. Okay, and that's one of the another amazing use case utility of decentralized finance. Though the exchange of money, the transfer of money is just one of the many solutions and services that are possible with DeFi. Being transferring money is just one of them. But I am glad that from the slide here you can have a clear understanding that of the centralized finance and the decentralized finance. So centralized finance is to banks, while decentralized finance is the Bitcoin. A lot of persons, at least if been online, actively on in the online presence, like online for some time, you hear about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now like a global trend all around the world, a form of money not controlled by anyone, and it is not centralized. Okay, Bitcoin is not centralized. It allows for P2P transactions all around the world, and it's a technology that is based on a distributed ledger, a network of distributed ledgers. Okay, so you see that Bitcoin has preferred solution beyond that of centralized finance and banks, while also providing an opportunity for people to carry out their businesses, transfer value seamlessly. And the idea of decentralized finance also originates from Bitcoin. Okay, that's like the first point you should note. And I would also like us to look at the several DeFi components, some of which are decentralized infrastructures. When we have, I told us that transferring value transcends beyond sending money. Now, for us to have the systems that will facilitate this transaction, the system that will help us to operate in a decentralized way, there has to be infrastructures. We have to be infrastructures that support these services and help to prefer value to tons of people who have access to just devices, their laptops, and they can be connected to a global and a decentralized economy. So the first thing I'd like us to look at, considering DeFi components, the core components that make up DeFi are decentralized infrastructure. So basically, when we're talking about decentralized infrastructures, we are mainly looking at Ethereum and smart contracts and other DeFi applications on the blockchain. Okay, there's a slide. Okay, so Ethereum is a perfect foundation for DeFi for several reasons, because Ethereum allows people to build on their platform, allows people to build several and diverse solutions on their platform. And Ethereum also supports smart contracts. What are smart contracts? Smart contracts are legal agreements on the blockchain. Okay, you want to give out a piece of land, you want to sell a land, okay, you have a property you want to put out for sale, and you have somewhere halfway across the world who wants to buy your property. The person cannot send the money because they don't trust you. You don't trust you. You cannot send the money. The person cannot send you the money because they don't trust you enough to give you their money. And okay, and you yourself, you wouldn't want to give out your property without being sure that you have the money, the value that that property is worth. So that's where smart contracts come in as trustless and permissionless entities that help to facilitate transactions and facilitate honesty. That's why it's trust. So you don't have to give me your money. We can have a legal agreement, a smart contract that is not controlled by anyone, that is entirely decentralized, to process that agreement and make sure that the two are being treated fairly at the end of every transaction. Okay, so smart contracts are being written and programmed to perform a particular function, and they perform these functions regardless of any external influences or any modifications. That's why smart contracts are also said to be immutable. That means when they are deployed, they cannot be changed. They cannot be edited or formatted, such something like that. Okay, so these infrastructures, okay, smart contracts, Ethereum, and other protocols enable us to build the solutions, to have access to the solutions we need. And another important component of the decentralized finance is the decentralized money. Okay, imagine an ever-growing ecosystem of this solution. Needs money, has to be in circulation since we are transferring value. Okay, and one of the ways that one of the currencies being used in decentralized finance is stable coins. Okay, we have different types of stable coins. I won't really want to dive deep into that, but I'll just tell us about stable coins and what they are and what they do. Okay, so having that, we need money to transact. Stable coins are cryptocurrency pegged to the value of real world assets, like the dollar. We have the USDT, we have the BUSD, several. We have Luna that just crashed a few days ago. Okay, that was really sad. These stable coins are pegged to the value of real world assets. Okay, and sometimes they can be backed by cryptocurrency collateral. Okay, so maybe you want to take a loan, okay, from a DeFi protocol worth $1,500. You need to have assets more than $1,500, say $2,000 worth of Bitcoin, and you need maybe fiat to maybe go shop groceries or go get things done, fix your bills and all of that. And you have cryptocurrencies. You can decide to stake your cryptocurrencies to earn interest, or also to borrow. Okay, you can borrow with DAI. You can earn yield interest, okay, from staking, like with DAI. So stablecoins are the building blocks of the DeFi ecosystem, and it's their job to remove volatility. So we are not really affected they are not really affected by the volatility of the crypto, like the crypto markets. Okay, and this is accomplished by pegging, putting their value alongside a real world asset, something that's as valuable as well as they are. So that facilitates transactions and payments and transfer of value across protocols from person to person, P2P, and all of that. And another important component of DeFi is decentralized financial services. Okay, so I'll be explaining this to us. They are basically comprised of decentralized exchanges which help to execute trade and help people to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrencies. Okay, and allow control of funds by the users. You don't need to go to a centralized entity to KYC and get to go through all of those verification process where you have to provide identification and all of that. And sometimes some of these centralized exchanges can snitch on you, your government, how much funds you have, and that brings about taxing, like what happens in Coinbase. But in decentralized exchanges, you are in total control of your funds, and it is not controlled by any central authority. Decentralized exchanges are run by smart contracts, independent. They're run by smart contracts, and these smart contracts provide the basis, the basis by which each platform operates. And if you're not sure about any decentralized exchange, you could always check out their source code. You could check out more about them and see their smart contracts, how it is being run, and it's an open source solution in the decentralized finance ecosystem. Okay, and also we have the decentralized money markets. Decentralized money markets are services that allow people to borrow, lend, and sometimes use cryptocurrencies for insurance. When you, in the traditional finance system in banks, you're able to take a loan, you're able to borrow some money, you're able to save, you're able to maybe put your money somewhere for interest, okay, maybe per annum or something. But you realize that with banks, the interest rates are very low, so like negligible, and that's bad. We deserve more. So with decentralized finance, we are saying that you could earn with passively from your assets, okay, from your crypto assets that are just sitting in your wallet. You could earn passively, and we have a lot of decentralized money markets with good returns on interest. And another interesting part about the decentralized money markets is that it is not controlled by anyone. Okay, they are smart contracts that decide how much interest should be given to you for putting in a particular amount, and also how much you earn over time, and these interests are being given out fairly without any sort of misunderstanding or any compromise whatsoever. As far as the smart contract is running on the blockchain, it's perform those particular functions. Okay, and also decentralized finance also facilitates insurance, okay, helping people who are willing to pay for insurance, connecting them with people who are willing to insure themselves for a premium. Okay, so this way people are able to get insurance. So maybe you choose a particular exchange you want to trade with, you decide to use your fiat to buy maybe ETH or something. You can buy ETH or Bitcoin or any other collateral, okay, or any other collateral you're interested in. Then you trade your ETH for a stablecoin DAI. Okay, the DAI we talked about. And then with your DAI, you're able to use your DAI to take and also borrow, and or you can decide to give out your funds and get a particular interest over time. And that makes decentralized exchanges very profitable. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense until you see how amazing the interest that people give out at decentralized, some decentralized protocols give out, how amazing they are. And also, you also have to make sure you do your own research before putting in funds to invest, okay, before you decide to stake or participate in yield farming. Okay, basically decentralized finance have several advantages, okay, against traditional banks. We look at the component of of DeFi. I just want us to look at the advantages of DeFi against traditional banks. Okay, so DeFi basically eliminates third parties, okay, where you don't need to an intermediary between yourself and the person you are transacting with. As far as you have a smart contract running on the blockchain, you are able to transact directly without having to go through intermediaries and all of that, those regulations. A system that is transparent and trustworthy. And DeFi also provides users with a kind of a permissionless system where anybody can access DeFi services. If I'm in Nigeria right now, I can't access certain financial services in the US or somewhere in Germany. But a decentralized protocol in Germany, I just need my MetaMask wallet installed and an internet connection, and then I can trade, I can move my funds around, I can stay in my room and move $1 million without any inconveniences due to delay in processing transaction that usually occurs with our traditional banking system. Also, another interesting feature is program that DeFi allows people to program, being programmable. So any service which can be coded into a smart contract can be introduced as a DeFi service or protocol. We have a whole lot of DeFi services, a whole lot of protocols out there that people use to trade, that people transact with from day to day. And these are basically applications being built by people, but this time they are built on the blockchain. This time they are being put together and profiled in a decentralized and without any sort of autonomy whatsoever. And these DeFi protocols are censorship resistant. DeFi protocols are censorship resistant. No person is restricted from using their services, and okay, you are not being censored based on your geographical location or based on where you live or where you come from. With DeFi, you are able to access your services anywhere all around the world. Okay, and DeFi is very transparent. All smart contracts are available for analysis and verification. You can basically see what's happening, what code is running, what functions, and you can know there are checks to make sure you don't get to pull. There are websites that help you, platforms that help you to check the code if there are any bugs or something that could, like honeypots or something that could threaten your pose a risk to your financial security. And DeFi protocols are trustless. All transactions and interactions are visible on the ledger and happen on the underlying blockchain. Okay, so there's no place for maybe having to put aside some things and being defrauded, unless when there's a breach in the security or when there's a compromise in the system. Okay, aside that, you are safe and you know that your funds are entirely secure and within your control. Okay, so DeFi facilitates global transaction with ease, as I have said, and there are about 80 billion of value locked in DeFi. Okay, as of July 2020, an estimated $91 billion in value was locked in decentralized finance, and you've seen the figure grow exponentially. So look at between July 2020 and March 2022, we see $79.1 billion, all the way from $9 billion. So massive value coming into the DeFi ecosystem, and these unique properties, is what has joined lots of persons into the ecosystem. People are looking for how they can provide solutions, how they can earn, how they can profitably from DeFi. Okay, so basically this is just a brief overview and introduction, and there are a lot of things that you still have to know, that as well, in as much as there are advantages, there are risks that DeFi poses to users out there. Okay, and this is an innovation that is, though it has experienced several milestones, is still in its infancy stage, and you have to be cautious when using some DeFi protocols. You have to do due research and make inquiries and make sure that you are trading on a platform that's safe and verified. Okay, because if you lose funds, you can't actually hold anyone, and you cannot hold a smart contract on a blockchain. As we edge towards massive adoption of DeFi technology as a whole, we are seeing a lot of innovation in security. People are developing platforms to make sure that people are safe and people can trade safely, because some people that are hackers out to exploit people and take advantage of the fact that these systems are open and try to put in, maybe we have heard of several security breaches that led to loss of millions and millions of dollars. Okay, so you always have to ensure that you are safe, and you also have to know that you have to be willing to invest what you can lose. You don't have to maybe throw in your life savings in something in a protocol you have not well figured out. Okay, understand how these protocols work first, then you can then decide to go or to invest. Okay, so basically that's a few I would just love to share. I would really appreciate if you have questions, and it's more of a discussion session. if we could have questions, and I'll be open to answering our questions and getting to clarify some of our doubts and and all of that. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you. So please do well to follow me on social media. I am DeFi Messiah. Edidiong Umana is my name. So I look forward to you having a very profitable journey in DeFi. Thank you very much.
Sweet.
That's good.
Thank you, Edidiong,
Thank you so much
for
for that.
demystifying DeFi for us. I have a question though. I do have a
Okay.
question. Yeah. So while we're like, please you can put in your question in the chat. If you have a question for Edidiong on the YouTube stream, you can put in your questions as well. Why I ask my own question, of course. So about stable coins. So with the dip that happened, you talked about stable coins not, it's stable, but
Yeah.
I think I think it wasn't stable for a while. So what was the explanation to that?
So okay, so basically, what happened with Luna was that we have stable coins that are pegged to the value of the dollar. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we have stable coins that are programmed. Okay, they are pegged to a value of an underlying asset. So the stable coin we knew, UST, that crashed, was pegged to Luna. Okay, so when Luna crashed, like it's just like having a system where you want $50,000. Say you want $50,000 in value, and you go to someone that can give you have maybe $50,000 and 50,000 worth of Ethereum, and maybe you want to spend some money. Maybe you wanted to get yourself a new Tesla Model X or something like that, and you didn't want to spend your Ethereum. Maybe you needed fiat, so you can stake your 50K worth of Ethereum for maybe 30K worth of fiat, and then get fiat at the expense of your as your with your Ethereum as an underlying asset that backs that loan. So UST that crashed was backed by Luna, and when they had issues in their ecosystem, the Luna problem is very, very complex. If I want to start explaining in detail, I would take a whole lot of time. But
Yeah, but
but
that makes
basically,
sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically the UST was pegged to Luna, and when there were issues with in the ecosystem and all of that, that's when we saw the value drop drastically. But other stable coins that were pegged to the value of the dollar, like the USDT and BUSD, yeah, they're still doing well in the market and without any issue whatsoever.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. So I think we have a question here from
Yeah.
Gino. So Gino says, how can we make DeFi an everyday use case thing and make it available to everyone?
Okay, so as we advance towards massive adoption, more people coming to embrace DeFi, the solutions that DeFi proffers, DeFi will be incorporated to our daily lives. Like myself, I basically earn from some APYs here and there. So every day I'm always checking out my stock options, like, and all of that. So DeFi being used every day depends on how much people have come to embrace the technology, how much they know, and how much they are willing to like put in to invest and then probably get to earn. Because you be where your heart is, where your money is. That's where your heart will be. So when you start investing in some of these protocols, you start earning. Definitely, people will start coming around and getting to be more involved, getting to be more involved. And one particular thing about DeFi is that you have to learn before you earn, because if you don't, you might get wrecked, something like that. So please always make sure that you are making the right research. You are looking out for who is the founder of the project, what backing that project before you maybe you invest to earn. But definitely, decentralized finance will become part of our everyday lives, because there are different ways that people will be earning substantially from different DeFi protocols.
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you so
I,
much.
I have one last question. Like, how do you recommend people get started with like DeFi? Like, is there a safe way to, get started?
Okay, the first way to get started that I advise is don't invest in
I think we lost Edidiong, or yeah, I
Okay.
think
Yeah, we lost
yeah,
it.
that's
All right.
Edidiong.
No
So sorry.
worries. There, we can. Edidiong will be. I think he'll be around
At the
for
Zoom, yeah,
Zoom.
the Zoom session,
Zoom
exactly. So
session.
we can. So let me go ahead and share back. Where can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I can see a screen.
Yeah.
So let's go to the
So yeah,
next.
thank you so much, Edidiong, for demystifying DeFi. That's a
Definitely.
tongue twister.
Yeah, I remember the first time I was learning about DeFi, like my head was like blowing up. There's like so many
I
nuances.
I
Pretty, it's
still
pretty.
don't have. I honestly still don't have space for like Web3 stuff. Honestly, like
Yeah,
I, I'm
it's
still
crazy.
I'm still taking my time. I'm still
Yeah,
taking my time literally with it. But yeah, that's by the way. Thank you for helping us out there. So yeah, we'll be going to the next speaker. So we'll be talking about Victory. Will be taking us through content creation and design in Web3. So while Edidiong has talked about DeFi and how to get into DeFi, Victory will talk about two things: content, both content creation and design in Web3. So I
mm,
think
it's all
Victory is
about
doing.
it's all about crypto today.
Yes, we're learning a lot of things.
All
Yeah,
about
so we're going. It's a full package, literally. So yeah, so Victory is here. So let's disappear for Victory to continue.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I
So,
think Victory has to share. So let me stop sharing. Um,
can I try to share my screen now? Hi. So my name is Victory, and first I want to thank the GitHub Africa for this opportunity. Thank you, Ruth, and thank you, Martins and Andrea, for this opportunity to talk about like crypto and Web3. I know that currently there's a buzz going on around Web3. In fact, I think the buzz has been on for so long, and a lot of people are still finding it very difficult to break into this space. And I think that's like the most important, or one of the important reasons for why this talk is being like held. For people that are starting up in Web3, let's just assume that there are people here who just hear Web3, crypto, decentralization, and they really don't know how to go into it because probably they don't know how to write codes and they don't know how to write smart contracts, but they have some other talents, some other soft skill that could be useful in the Web3 space, but they do not know how to go about it. And that's why I'm here. That's what I want to talk about. Talking about content and design strategy for Web3. A few of the things we're going to talk about today is basically what content creation is, challenges that we face as content creators, or challenges that we face as designers in the Web3 space as well. And just to debunk some Web3 terms and myths here. So, first of all, what is content creation? Content creation is basically creating content or creating topics, informations, infographics about a particular product for users or people that will come in contact with that product to understand what the product is about. So it's basically just telling people, giving people information about something that you're doing. For Web3 now, we say you're writing content to introduce Web3 to new
I think there's some connection problems. So sorry about that, but I'm sure Victory will be joining in soon. I wish I can, talk about it, but I'm not here to talk about it. But yeah, Victory should be joining in back soon. Sorry about the connection issues. Yeah, I think
Sean. I mean,
Martins, yeah, back me up
Martin,
here.
yeah.
I was, I was beginning to
Yeah,
lose it.
I was I was wondering. I was really looking forward to learning about
Yeah,
how people build up content for Web3 because there's so
yeah,
much
like there's been
right.
so much. I know sometimes I get like hit up like to create content, but I barely know shit about it. I don't want to get my hands into what I don't know. So
Yeah, is
like
is basically just looking at what other
people
people
are
are
trying
talking
to learn like understand what it is. So companies that are Web3 companies are trying to put out content there to mainly educate people, because then there are a whole lot of boss terms, like there are a whole lot of these terms. Like today you hear DeFi, more another one. Yay, victory is
about.
back.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Apologies.
we're holding the fort for you. So let's
Welcome
let's
back.
run away now.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Let me just share my screen again. Okay. Is it clear now? Okay. So we're at the point where we're debunking some Web3 terms and like differentiating between what Web1, Web2, and Web3 is. I know that there are people on the internet who still believe that, well, there's literally no difference between the internet I'm experiencing right now and the ones prior to this. But Web1 had to do with like the early days of the internet, the early days of the web, where it was just static and there were only people, designated people that were assigned to build on that particular system because it was very complicated and all of that. And then came Web2. Web2 was the phase of the internet where it was like a three-party kind of system where there was a platform for you to use, there was a creator, and then there's a user. But then there is a center, like the creator or the platform acts as an agent. It stores your information, your data, all of those things. They use those information that they collect to kind of design a good user experience for users of the internet. But then Web3 is a little more decentralized, as Edidiong had put it earlier. It gives power to everybody that's on the internet to be a creator as well as be a user as well as be a developer. So the point is your information while using a Web3 system or Web3 decentralized internet is kind of safe, and you have the autonomy of using the system or the web as much as you want. So basically that's like the difference between what Web1, Web2, and Web3 is. You see NFT creators creating on OpenSea, cashing out and like making money just by creating on the blockchain. So that's the power of the blockchain. And then there's nobody on the blockchain except for Ethereum collecting gas fees. There's literally nobody there who stores your information or your bank data, all of those things, which we normally associate with Web2. Moving on, why is content and why is design important in Web3? If you're active on the internet, you could see sometimes people have this fuss about why do you call yourself a Web3 designer or why do you call yourself a Web3 content creator? I mean, you're literally doing the same thing you would do for a Web2 company, for a Web3 company, but it necessarily doesn't mean that's exactly what you're doing, because for you to be in Web3, you need to understand the scope and like the technicalities of a Web3 space before you're able to create content for it. The same way you were given the opportunity to learn about Web2 and create content for it. Each of these webs have like their different features and outline. So it's very necessary for you to know what you're going to talk about. So why is content and design important in Web3? Well, for one, Web3 may just be the new evolution of content marketing. What do I mean by that? A lot of people are coming into this space. Content is being created from different aspects because it is a very complicated space in a way. Organizers, business owners, project owners, community owners are looking for ways that they can simplify Web3, blockchain, cryptocurrency. So, like newbies who are interested in coming into Web3 space. So, let's say we didn't used to have employment for meme lords in Web2, but you can be a meme lord in Web3 because they're looking for things that reduce the technicality of the space so more people can come into it, more people can feel safe when they understand what is being done in the Web3 space. Next is your customers need to be informed. So let's say you were using a Web2 product before. We've seen this if you're very like I said, active on the net, you will notice that there are some companies who were Web2 companies, but currently they have like dual building stuff, and like they have like Web2 and then they're building Web3 products. And sometimes their customers might be confused, or what's going on? Are we no longer customers for Web2? Are we now customers for Web3? All of that. So we need people to create content that are informative. So you can create graphic design, infographics, or you could write a blog post about your new product or the new company products and all of those things. Your customers need to know what is going on day after day, time by time, as new progress or as progress continues to grow in your community or for your products. Products also needs to be advertised. You need to tell people, this is what I'm building, this is what it does, and this is why it is useful for you. Yes, we see this a lot in Web2, but for Web3, people need to be convinced, because this is a trustless, anonymous sites system and all of those things that are associated with cryptocurrency and blockchain. People need to know that they are going into a safe space, and their details, if you've said that this is going to be a safe space for them, they need to be convinced that yes, it's going to be a safe space for them. So how do you do that? You design contents, written, visual, audio, whichever, that serves your audience need to kind of like explain what's going on to them. Also, users and customers need to transition. A lot of people here came in to listen to Web3 talk and blockchain just because they wanted to go into this space and they did not know how to. So you see, people need to move from one level to another, and it will be very difficult for them to do that if there are no content that guides them seamlessly to make that transition. I know one of the reasons why I went into this space and went into content creation was because when I started out as a writer or a newbie in Web3, I was a bit lost, because that was the era of NFTs and I didn't know anything about NFTs. So what I did was I started learning, and as I learned, I wrote content about what I was learning. And that's the reason why I'm here, because people saw the content that I put out there and they had an idea that this person has an idea of what she's doing. She's been through this, so she's the right person to guide me to making my transition into Web3. So you could be that kind of guardian for newbies who want to step into Web3. So how do you create content for Web3? Well, like I've been saying all this while, the first thing you need to do is to understand the space. Understand the space by doing your research. After doing your research, identify what area of Web3 you want to go to. Web3 is quite large. We have like blockchain, we have DAOs, we have NFTs, and each of these aspects have different roles that you could play in them. For NFTs, you could be an artist, you could be a project owner, you could be a storyteller for an NFT project, you could be a DAO governor, you could be a community manager. These are all very different roles in each of these spaces under Web3. So identify which one fits into your goals or whatever you want to do. And then after you've identified a niche, identify what type of content you want to create. Do you want to create written content to back up your role? Do you want to create more visual? You want to go to the aspects of design flyers, infographics, pictures, whatever it has to be to, communicate with your audience. That's something that you would want to buy into. And then you start working towards it. Look for a platform and start creating content on it. I know I'm saying it like it sounds easy, and you might be thinking it's not so easy, but you would never know how easy it is or how difficult it is until you do your research and start in that space. So what type of content can be created in Web3? Well, you can create written contents. We have like content copywriting or technical writing. So in the blockchain, there are some very technical articles that have to do with installments, how to do things, tutorials on using the EVM, which is the Ethereum virtual machine, or most of those. There are different blockchain platforms from Polygon. We have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum, we have Near. All of these are different blockchain protocols, and they have some technical aspects of them. So you could visit their documentation and start simplifying it and writing articles for people that would need it, maybe developers that have no time to go through the full documentation. You could write like a very easy to understand tutorial or article on your Medium page or whichever platform you decide to use. You could also create video content on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, create Instagram reels around blockchain, around NFTs and all of those things. This can help you to get visibility in the Web3 space. You could advocate for projects, find a project that you like, an NFT project, a DAO community, and begin to speak about the work that is being done in that particular community. For people who like to do a more softer job, you could be meme lords, create memes surrounding NFTs. I know that currently, because of the deep, there's a lot of tension in the atmosphere and in the ecosystem. But creating memes that are funny, creating skits, but that still inform the audience about blockchain or Web3 can be a good space to go into. And then creating design websites, design products, like I've been saying, design infographics, graphics design, motion design, any type of design that communicates with your audience. So how do you develop Web3 strategies? I've decided that I want to be a blockchain writer, a blockchain copywriter, a blockchain technical writer. And who do I want to write for, and what do I want to do? So you begin identify your target audience. Who am I writing for? Am I writing for developers? Am I writing for community? Am I writing for users? Is it like a joint article? What am I doing? Do your research. What is needed at this particular time? What do people want to know about this product I'm writing? Are there other articles that explain this thing? Are there other videos that explain this? And how can I make it better? So those are kind of thoughts you should be having when you decide to develop Web3 content strategies. What type of content do you need or do you want to create? Now, this means after you've identified your audience, what kind of content do they necessarily like? The people that I'm creating for, are they people that read so much? Are they people that like video content? So when you've done your research, you identify these things, it helps you to narrow down what kind of content you would want to create. And then you begin to brainstorm ideas for the content, test the content with that same audience, and look at which particular marketing channel works best for you. So sometimes you might decide to go with both of your choices. You can decide to create both videos and written contents, and then you test it, which one does most or brings more traffic to your project, and which are people interacting with more. And then that's from there, you take customer feedback, iterate, and then you go back the circle again. You start to do your research, you create more content, you brainstorm. It's just like a circle that goes round. So I'm creating content now, but for a while I've not been able to create content. Yes, it's very normal with content creators, especially when you're being very original with your creation and you have to think and brainstorm on these things. You experience things called creative block. Sometimes you're not able to be as productive as you usually are. It's okay. You just take a break, relax, and then do whatever makes you happy. You could always come back to create content, but make sure you're working with like a time limit so you don't exceed your deadline. Next, dealing with harsh feedback. Yeah, sometimes dealing with feedback from team leads can kind of crush you in a way and you will not be able to create content for a while. I know that recently I experienced that where I was supposed to create content for somebody and they sent feedback and the feedback wasn't so friendly and nice, and it took me back like a week. I was able to write for a week, but I got myself back and then I did the work. So last minute changes too can also shake up a creator. You've worked on this particular project for a very long time, and suddenly just before the submission your team lead says, no, I want you to change the color of the design, I want you to change the tone of the article, I want you to add this, I want you to take off this. Sometimes it can be very, very chaotic to the mind to begin to make last minute changes, especially for changes where you feel like you've already exhausted all of your options. Also, creating consistency in production of quality content. As an original content creator, sometimes you're faced with producing quality content consistently. Sometimes you might create content and some are doing better than others. It doesn't mean that you've done a terrible job. It just means that some were more valid to your users or your audience than the others. The next thing is consistency in maintaining your tone. So for people that write articles, there's a certain way that your article is supposed to sound. Sometimes if you write for an organization, they give you a list of how your article is supposed to go through, what you're supposed to write, and they're just like you have a design system, they also have like a content system for content creators. And then editing content, getting feedback, same thing. Sometimes they can challenge you as a creator, and you might experience a long term of creative block just because of these changes. But all of these things are normal with content creators, and all you have to do is take a step back, breathe, do things that you like, And over time, you begin to create one after the other. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't rush. If it's something that you don't have a deadline for, I think it's best that you take your time and do one step after the other. So styles come and go. Good design is a language and not a style. So good design comes in both content and in design in general. So as content creators, we must understand that creating content from an original standpoint is the best, because copying from other people, sometimes copying is also good, but doing a lot of plagiarism may not be what is necessary for your growth as a writer. So develop your own style, your own content style, your own design style. It should align with your target audience or the product's goals or your organization goals, and all of those things are what will make you a good content creator. So that's all for this. Thank you for attending. You can follow me on Twitter at Victory Brown _, and I hope I was able to, dissect this topic very well.
Yes, you did. Thank you,
Great
Victory,
work.
for
Thank you,
for
Victory.
giving us a lot of information. And yeah, so Martin, there's a part we should talk about meme lords. There was a time
Yeah,
where I saw like 200K. The
that should be
salary
your
range for a meme.
Yeah, they pay that
So,
high for meme lords. Yeah,
like,
Are you
I can just
serious?
create. These
yeah,
days I post a lot of memes on WhatsApp, so I can just create
Yeah,
one. I think that
just
was,
transition into Web3
yeah,
meme.
exactly.
You know?
Yeah, thank you, Victory. I think yeah, do we have like questions? Please, if you have questions for Victory, please put it in the YouTube chats. And okay, Idris is asking if you can access the slides.
yeah.
So I think, yeah, okay, Victory share the link as well. And I think Victory will also be in the Zoom session. So please, if you have questions for Victory, love your questions.
Yeah,
Martins, are you not going to go into content?
yeah, there's so many opportunities in content creation. The internet is just so many opportunities. So good opportunity
Mm-hmm.
for young people all over Africa to take advantage of all of this. The internet is where the money is at right now. So
Yeah,
definitely, Ruth can attest to that.
yeah,
uh,
yeah. I can. You can.
it can be stressful though, but it pays pretty well.
Yeah, it can be stressful. Like talking about, I think when Victor talked about, the creative block. That's something I've
Mhm.
experienced a couple of times, which sometimes it can be hard to get yourself out of that space, but you
Yeah,
just have to. Yeah, so it can be a lot sometimes to create content. Yeah, thank you, Victory. I don't think there are any questions. You can see so many comments here. So thank you for your session, and we'll share your slides with everyone on the YouTube chat. So I think, yeah,
that's about it.
let me try to share my screen again. I don't know why that thing doesn't. Okay, let me see. Is my screen up? Yeah, so Gino says can relate with. Was it the advocate? Yeah, I think I attended Gino's session at Oscar. So yeah, hi Gino.
Nice.
Yep, thank you so much. So I think you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, I
I
can
don't.
see the screen.
Oh, I
Yeah.
was trying to share it instead of slideshow. Oh my god. So yeah, next is, so we usually host this every month, and there's another event next month, and we'll be having the founder of Chakra UI. And next month is GitHub is highlighting and talking about maintainers, open source maintainers. So
Mm.
it's going to be about open source community Africa. We'll be having Shegun, who is the creator of Chakra UI, very useful open source library. And he's going to be sharing a very special topic about maintenance with us. Please feel free to RSVP for that. It's on the GitHub Africa virtual meetup link, so you can please. We want you to attend. It's going to be happening in June, 13th of June, and 4 p.m. WAT time. So please, we love you to be there. If you love open source, if you want to chat with Shegun, please be there. So I think there's a question here for Victory. Is a degree needed to get a job in Web3 space from, yeah.
Well, not necessarily, but you need to know what you're doing. So you don't need like a college degree,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
probably something that shows that you know what you're doing, basically.
Yeah, if you can, if you're a good
Before you
writer,
get up
you
to it.
know, if you can write, express yourself in writing,
Mhm.
I think that's like, everything is just like, practicing, maybe starting with
Mhm.
writing articles on Medium, CDs, see what attraction you get there, and then continue to, like, put yourself out there. You don't really need a formal degree in computer science, right? Ruth, did you study computer science in
I
college?
did not. I studied microbiology. I did not. Yeah.
So you can definitely. I didn't study computer science as well, but I'm working at a very technical company in the US. So you can definitely evolve over time. Like, as far as, like, you can
Mhm.
write, you have a passion for writing. You can definitely find your way into anything. The your our life is like a canvas. You can paint any picture you want
Mhm.
as you go along your journey.
Yeah. Exactly. And the thing with like Web3 is that like there's been a lot of flexibility. I think entry level roles, you see entry level roles as well. I think so. I think sometimes I see that even with content creation, like there's a lot of like
Mhm.
flexibility too. So yeah,
Exactly.
you do not need a degree to get started. So you can get started ASAP as soon as possible. So yeah, thank you for asking that question.
Awesome.
Okay, Edidiong is coming back. I think Edidiong was not able to answer the other question, so yeah, Edidiong is back.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for having me back. Thank you.
What was
Sorry
the other
for
question for Edidiong?
Yeah, there was a question Edidiong was trying to answer before.
yeah.
Yeah,
Someone I
before
think someone asked how they can access DeFi services every day, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Let me try to bring it out from somewhere. I think that was a very interesting question. Yeah. So yeah, how can we make DeFi an everyday? I think that was from Gino. Yeah. How
Okay,
can we
yeah.
make DeFi an everyday use case and make it available for everyone? So yeah.
Okay, one of the ways we can make DeFi available for everyone is to make sure everyone knows about DeFi. Is to accelerate Web3 education in whatever part of the world we find ourselves. Okay, so there are DeFi basically gives you financial services, but this time on the blockchain they are decentralized. So just like saying, how can people access more of these financial services that benefits them ultimately? That's by investing in DeFi protocols, okay? Researching, you have as an individual, you have a personal responsibility. So you want to choose if you want to go to GTB, Zenith, Access them or whatever. So it's your own personal responsibility to check out the DeFi protocols that are out there, check out what the protocols you might want to use. Do you want to save? Do you want to lend? Do you want to stake? Do you want to partake in yield farming? It all boils down to how much the person knows, and it's part of what I'm doing, accelerating with the education, DeFi education, let people know more about these services and let them get to use them and interact. And to get started, basically all you need is just a MetaMask wallet, a wallet that connects you to the blockchain, and then you are good to go with the right knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Edidiong and Victory. We really appreciate you guys educating us today around,
Yeah,
cryptocurrency,
we do.
DeFi, and and content creation in Web3. So I think we can call it a wrap now and move to Zoom
Yep.
and play our
Yeah,
class.
we can. Yeah, for Kahoot games. So please, the link. I think Andrea is going to drop in the link for the Zoom session. So
Yeah.
please, our speakers, you can join us as well and play Kahoot games. So
All
thank
right.
you everyone for staying
Thank you,
tuned,
guys.
and let's head over to Zoom.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye bye.